Municipal authorities launched a strict campaign against the respect of Monday ghost towns in that part of the country. The city mayor, Victor Nkelengo, yesterday went on rampage, sealing shops that were closed as a result of the ghost towns. We shall be having details in this newscast. We also tell you how Fon Ekokomukete the Fourth has been unveiled to the administration as a paramount chief of Kumba. That ceremony took place today in the presence of the senior divisional officer for Meme Division, Chamberlain Tuondo. And we tell you and we continue our series on public toilets in the economic capital, Dwala. In this newscast, we take you to two markets to look at the situation of public toilets. Those are top stories. Good evening and thanks for joining us. You're watching the Primetime Newscast on STV. Let's begin with this ongoing event. The member states of the Economic Union of Central Africa have been urged to find adequate solutions to revive their economies hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The interstate committee meeting of the structure has opened today via video conference. Professor Daniel Ona Ondo, the head of the CEMAC Commission, has called on experts to give out proposals that will boost the private sector's capacities to sail through the tough times. And governments have been told to take exceptional measures to ensure that the economies remain afloat. The conference will end on Wednesday with the adoption of resolutions. The Kumba city mayor and his team have launched a strict campaign against the respect of Monday ghost towns. Victor Nkelengo has sealed shops and other businesses that were closed yesterday, Monday, in ghost towns that were declared by separatist fighters. Details with Katrin Kone.
From one spot to the other, the Kumba city mayor Nkelengo Victor and his team made a tour to the Kumba main markets and other business places to evaluate the move in eradicating the ghost town Monday imposed by the separatist fighters.
The turnout, because a lot of those people who owners of shops in the market have realized that they can't sit in their houses and lose this particular day, because it is normally their concern to make business and make profits. And right now I can see the turnout to be a wonderful one I never thought about. And to tell you, I want to assure you that in the coming weeks, ghost town will be gradually dying and dying. We will now embark on seeing that these people have transportation to come to their markets and to their stores. That is what we should be contemplating on right now.
He says all those whose businesses were sealed will have to pay a penalty and sign an undertaking before their businesses are reopened.
The sealing would cost 25,000 francs for each store, and it takes effect 1 week after. That means they will be penalized for 1 week, and the next Monday, that is when we shall accept them coming to pay 25,000 francs each.
To the disgruntled traders, the conditions for them to open their shops on Monday is not safe.
For the condition, if I try for Barombi and if for trek, let's not really trek. To say my rich here, to say I've even car. We don't put some money to now. No man can go to the today. Any man to the fear in life, I will need security.
May they provide with security. The people the way they're supposed for. Start with them for say make move from day for town. Now Okada and taxi drivers, not in a way. Imagine if I stay right from Mabanda, how would do trek from Mabanda to Kumba main market?
However, the inhabitants were assured on the safety measures to be adopted in order to protect them from unforeseen circumstances.
We continue our series on public toilets in the economic capital, Dwala. Most markets in the city do not have toilets, while others are so unkempt where they exist. Our reporter Ladonet Oni-Ondesa tells us that traders are forced to use unorthodox means to dispose waste. Her report.
The notion of hygiene and sanitation is much more of an illusion than a reality in most of the markets in Dwala. Here at Marché New Daido, in the Dwala 1 municipality, this abandoned building is now used by traders to ease themselves when pressed due to the absence of toilets. We have issues with public toilets here because when someone wants to ease himself, he looks for anywhere to do it. For now, we don't have public toilets in the market.
Okay. En fait, ça c'est un marché, je peux dire que
I can say they don't consider this a market because the Afretseka market that was there before is not the same as the one that we have here. We don't have public toilets. They don't even exist. Here, people struggle when you want to ease yourself. Some even go as far as urinating in front of other people's shops.
tu pars où tu te tournes. Souvent même, il y a même ceux qui font même ça devant les devantures des autres.
Bon, auparavant, il y avait un monsieur qui avait conçu les toilettes publiques, qui était un peu payant, mais qui ne faisait pas partie un peu des toilettes publiques de la communauté.
Before, there was a man who constructed a public toilet, which was paid, because it was not constructed by the council. Since it was destroyed, we don't have toilets again. This is a private property. The owner is very good. That's why he gave us access to urinate here.
C'est pour ça que tout le monde sait que bon, quand le papa il a un bon cœur, il est ouvert. C'est pour ça qu'il a donné accès à tout un chacun qui veut faire un peu les besoins. Ils viennent faire les besoins.
Crossing over to Mashi Sandaga, in the Dwala 1 municipality, toilets are scarce. At Sandaga, we have 2 public toilets here. We have one down there that's open for the market, while this is privately owned. The ones available has to be paid before use. At Sandaga, we have put in all measures so customers can ease themselves properly. The price here is 50 francs, 100 francs. 50 francs to urinate, 100 francs to defecate, and 200 francs to bathe. And even if a customer gives 100 francs, we can't refuse because we know things are difficult. Urinating in unclean surfaces exposes these traders to different diseases like malaria, syphilis, amongst others.
The National Association of Cameroon Musical Arts, SONACAM, has announced that it will adapt the music industry to the digital age to sail through the coronavirus pandemic. This was taken at the end of a General Assembly meeting where copyright issues as well as the management of finance were also on the table for discussion. Josephine Binzi has more.
A board meeting on collective management and adapting all means to today's digital reality, as well as engage a turning point in the lives of Cameroonian artists, has been the motivation of the Association of Cameroon Music, in its French acronym SONACAM.
We also came to examine the work that the 2 commissions that have met before now have done in relation to admissions and categorization of members, as well as the distribution commission that met to make sure that the work they did was properly done, because this distribution is, I can say, is the first real distribution that has to respect certain norms, and so we have to, the board has the responsibility to go through this work and ensure that it's well done.
An evaluation of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Cameroonian artists was also discussed, as well as possible proposals to be presented to government.
We are within the period of this COVID pandemic that has taken had a big toll on artists, on music artists in particular. So we want to set up a committee that is going to examine the impact, evaluate the impact, and make proposals to government on how best they can help artists, music artists in particular, within this period.
Popular Cameroonian artist Salatel used this as a means to express some disturbing situations and possible solutions.
To deal with the classic way of doing things and making things more digital, because that's the future, that's the present and that's the future. And it also permits transparency the sharing of rights, who gets what. It's not because an artist is 30 years or has a 30 years old career that automatically he has to get more money than the younger artist who has 2 years but who's the person that is being more played. I mean, so it's part of the conversation of this council today. That's why
the association equally seeks to find a common ground between the digital age and the music industry, as well as push it to the place it ought to be. The board meeting took place on August 3, 2020.
Elites of Dwala have paid homage to King Rudolf Dwala Mangabel, who was killed by the Germans for resisting land expropriation policies. This is part of commemorative activities marking the 106th anniversary of his death, a ceremony that was launched yesterday by the city mayor Roger Mbassa Ndine. Our reporter Christel Asexwele tells us more.
After the official launch of the commemoration of the 106th celebrations of the death of the then Dwala King Rudolf Dwala Mangabel by the governor of the Littoral region, Samuel Ivadiboa, yesterday, August 3, 2020, in the courtyard of the current Merchant Navy in Bononjo, the newly elected mayor of the Dwala City Council, Mbassa Ndine, along with other Dwala elites, took their turns to pay homage to this fallen national hero.
As you know, Rudolf Dwala Mangabel is a national hero of our country. And we came here to commemorate his death. And by doing this, we want to tell all people here in our city that Cameroon has an history, a glorious history, and it is important from time to time to let people know that we are a country, we are united, and we know what to do when we have a challenge before us.
King of Kings, or Tete Kumba in the Dwala language, is now an icon that no longer belongs to a family but to the entire nation. The celebrations commemorating his death will continue until August 8, 2020, where traditional Sawa chiefs will in turn pay homage at the Vault of Kings in Bonanjo.
Born in 1873, King Rudolf Dwala Mangabel studied abroad before coming back to the country to succeed his father as king of the Dwalas in 1908. He was initially in good terms with the German colonial administration before falling out with them over land expropriation policies. The portrait of the national icon is what our reporter Josephine Binzi presents in the following report.
Being a catalyst to counter German domineering rule in Cameroon, Rudolf Dwala Mangabel was an icon to reckon with in his time and so many successes to be remembered for. In 1910, the German governor in Cameroon, Theodore Setz, approved the urbanization project of the city of Dwala, which aimed at turning the Dwala seaport into the largest in Africa. Thus, the people had to relocate into the hinterland while the Europeans would settle at the coast. Neighborhoods such as New Belle, New Aqua, New Dedo were created for indigenous people, and these allotments had to be separated from Europeans by 1 kilometer wide. Mangabel became the main weapon to counter these ideologies as he attempted to get help from a German journalist and other platforms, but was overturned. Adolf Ngusodin was therefore sent in secret to hire a lawyer for the people to pursue the matter in court. He equally sought for the collaboration of other Cameroonian leaders like Bali, Balong, and Chang. The leader of the Wondo people, Charles Tangana, and Martin Paul Samba urged the French military to support. All was in place to successfully overthrow the Germans until the Sultan of Bamoun, Ibrahim Joya, informed the Germans of Rudolf Dwala Mangabel's rebellion against them and how successful he had gone. Germans became furious as they arrested a Dwala leader and Ngosodin and tried them in May, accusing them of high treason. They were tried and hanged on the 8th of August 1914. Rudolf Dwala Mangabel was born in 1872 in Cameroon town, modern-day Dwala. He was the first son of King Manga Ndumbe Bel of the Dwala people. After completing his primary and part of secondary school education, he continued in Bonn, Germany. He was therefore named Tete Kombo, which signifies the king who reached out to other kings and the first one who attempted to unite leaders and indigenes in Cameroon.
Just as we told you in the headlines, Chief Ekoko Mukete has been unveiled as the paramount ruler of Kumba today in a ceremony that was chaired by the Senior Divisional Officer for Mehmet Division, Chamberlain Twondo. This took place in the presence of Bafo notables and a cross-section of the population. Details with Katrin Kone.
The state of Cameroon has officially recognized the new phone of Kumba and paramount ruler of the Bafos for Mukete IV, Ekoko. The recognition was done in a ceremony which took place in the phone's palace in Kumba town this Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. The ceremony, presided over by the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme, Chamberlain Dong, in the presence of the Divisional Officer of Kumba 1, 2 and 3 Subdivision, the Kumba City Mayor Victor Nkele, Senator Victor Mukete, amongst other personalities. The event started with the national anthem and followed by the Bafo anthem. After committing the ceremony to designate a new phone of Kumba and paramount ruler of the Bafos in conformity with the law, the outgoing phone Senator Victor Mukete III stated that advanced age and long stay on the throne led to his choice by selecting one of his sons, Ekoko Mukete, to replace him.
The beginning of a new administration for Kumba and the Bafo tribe.
The SDO for Meme, on taking the floor, called on the 10 family heads of the Bafo tribe to present to him the new phone, and after meeting in conclave in Camara, they returned to hand over their traditional successor, Ekoko Mukete, to the administration of the Meme division. The 10 Bafo families that selected the new phone of Kumba and paramount ruler of the Bafo are Bakum, Mbanba Mbaye, Mbandubang, Ma Esong, Madimukuma, Bashibi, Bakuka, Mbamun, Enong, and Ma Ukosa. However, the SDO praised the people of the Bafo tribe for their sense of maturity in the selection of their new phone. He promised them that in the days ahead, he shall come back for the coronation of the new phone, Ekoko Mukete.
In technology, authorizing a unique digital address to a specific location is now possible in Cameroon with the use of PostPrint, a digital solution that has been officially unveiled in Dwala today. Our reporter Christel Asek-Swele was at the press conference and now reports.
Assigning a unique digital address to a specific location is now possible with a simple click, with the use of a new application known as PostPoint.
PostPoint is free, is available to the mass presently on Google Play and hopefully available soon for iOS users and even for non-smartphone users, so they can be available even by SMS or USSD shortcodes. Firstly, it's excluding the fact that it's free. It interprets the long geo-coordinates, that's latitudes and longitudes, which are long to retain. They are about 16 characters, digits. They are long. And what we do is that we interpret these geo-coordinates, these latitudes and longitudes, into a user-friendly address. And the addresses are like phone numbers. They are shorter and they are expressive. Unlike phone numbers, there is a 3-digit character which represents the subdivision in which you are.
This solution was officially presented to the public during a press conference chaired by Gilbert Olpok and his team from Afrologic, a full-stack marketing and IT consultancy firm offering custom digital solutions from websites and applications. He tells us effectively how this digital solution works.
Post point, so we cover all the subdivisions, all the surface area, even the areas with no addresses as water, even the trees, the forest, wherever you are, you have an address. It works even without an internet connection. So you can use it for your delivery of like mail deliveries or postal services. You can use them even for emergency response in case you find yourself in the middle of the road and you find someone who needs help, or you meet a broken pipe by the street and you need to inform the competent service of the broken pipe. So you have different use cases.
This digital solution is available for free download on Google Play and presently covers Cameroon, the neighboring countries within weeks, with an iOS version available on App Store.
Obesity remains a major health challenge in Cameroon. Experts say more than 15% of the Cameroonian population are obese. However, many have been able to break away from it. In the following report, Ladonette Oni, our reporter, met a TV presenter who tells us how she lost 50 kilograms in 2 years. Her report.
Fans of morning shows in Cameroon have certainly noticed the change. One of its star presenters, Soflan Kenye, turned different, a change that was greatly criticized. On losing 50 kilograms, I made enemies, but people who asked me to lose weight, being conscious that I may not lose weight. So these persons now come today saying, you were beautiful before, but you aren't anymore. Yes, I'm not beautiful, but I'm in good health. Like Soflan Kenye, about 15% of Cameroon's population suffers from obesity, and 1 in 4 adults in urban areas are plagued with the problem of overweight. The accumulation of excessive fat in the body can stimulate other health hazards.
L'obésité est la porte ouverte à plusieurs maladies, que ce soit des maladies cardiovasculaires.
Obesity is an open door to various sicknesses, be it cardiovascular diseases or fertility problems. So it will be wise for everyone to put in effort so as to lose weight. Lack of self-fulfillment and confidence are also some of the challenges faced by obese persons.
Alors, vivre avec l'obésité n'est pas une chose facile. À côté des railleries des uns et des autres,
living with obesity is not an easy thing. On one side, we have people saying everything. You feel bad. You find it difficult to live freely. When you have some health challenges, like feeling pains around your knees, they cannot be cured, because a professional will ask you to shed out some fat. You have a husband who will complain all the time because you snore almost all night. Living with obesity becomes complicated because you need to look good. But when you like a dress, you cannot wear it.
Vous ne pouvez pas la mettre, ça c'est dans une certaine mesure. Donc il y a tellement de problèmes à vivre avec l'obésité.
As an overcomer of obesity, this TV presenter recommends an effective way of losing weight.
Quand on a décidé de perdre du poids, je pense que la meilleure chose à faire, c'est de s'adresser à un professionnel de la nutrition, un nutritionniste ou un diététicien qui saura après quelques examens.
When one decides to lose weight, I think the best thing to do is to consult with a nutritionist or a dietitian, who after consultation will recommend the most effective and suitable method for the individual. But I will recommend following a balanced diet, because when we follow balanced diet, one eats little of everything. But if one follows a drastic way, not followed up by a professional, it's but normal that that person will put on more weight than before. This is because the method will wear out. Your body has needs. You are exposed to more harm than good. Most times we see people who want to lose weight telling themselves, if I skip a meal or two, it will work faster. Maybe it will work for 2-3 weeks or even a month, but it cannot work for a longer time. it won't last because you are human and are bound to return back to old habits. So meet a professional and be committed to the prescriptions of the professional.
Dans les mêmes travers et bien sûr reprendre du poids. Il faut donc s'adresser à un professionnel. Après, il faut être rigoureux en termes de ce que le professionnel aura évidemment prescrit.
The diagnosis of obesity is based on the calculation of the body mass index. It is calculated using a person's weight in kilograms and dividing it by the height squared in meters.
And that does it for the primetime newscast on STV. Thank you very much for watching. More news comes up at 8 p.m. in the French language. From the entire team in Dwala, have a good night. Bye-bye.